There is a certain magic to the 357 Magnum. Since its birth in 1935, it has been the standard by which all other combat handgun cartridges are judged. It's a legend, born of steel and fire, that has served with distinction in the holsters of lawmen and outdoorsmen for generations. Its power is undeniable, an authoritative crack that speaks of serious business. But what happens when that incredible power is crammed into a package that is too small, too light, and too unforgiving? The result is a firearm that is often more punishing to the shooter than it is to the target. A tool that can actively discourage the very practice and training that are necessary for survival. Today, we are going to have a very frank discussion. This is our list of the top 7 357 Magnum revolvers you should probably never buy. Now, let me be clear. These are not bad guns. Many of them are marvels of modern engineering, but they represent a terrible mismatch of power and platform, a painful and often dangerous trap for the unprepared owner. If you value honest, no-nonsense advice that looks beyond the spec sheet, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Number 7. The Smith & Wesson 340 PD. Kicking off our list is the undisputed featherweight champion of pain, the Smith & Wesson 340 PD. This revolver is a true paradox. It is a miracle of modern metallurgy, a J-frame so light it almost feels like a toy. The frame is a high-tech scandium alloy, and the cylinder is crafted from titanium. The result is a 5-shot 357 Magnum that weighs less than 12 ounces. To put that in perspective, that is lighter than many empty, all-steel revolvers. It is an incredible feat of engineering, designed for the ultimate in comfortable, all-day carry. However, the moment you load it with a full-power Magnum cartridge, that engineering marvel becomes an instrument of pure torment. The recoil is not a push. It is a violent, stinging slap that rattles the bones in your hand and wrist. The muzzle flash and concussion are breathtaking. It is a gun that fights you, viciously, with every single shot. The 340 PD is on this list because it represents the absolute, brutal extreme of the power-to-weight ratio. It creates a shooting experience so punishing that it makes meaningful practice almost impossible, turning a potential lifesaver into something you are actively afraid to shoot. It is, however, an excellent firearm when loaded with standard .38 special ammunition. Number 6. The Ruger LCR in 357 Magnum. Coming in at number 6 is one of the most innovative and popular revolvers of the 21st century, but in a chambering that pushes it past the point of reason for most shooters. The Ruger LCR in 357 Magnum. When Ruger introduced the lightweight compact revolver, its hybrid polymer and aluminum frame was revolutionary. In its original .38 special chambering, the LCR is a fantastic firearm, with a famously smooth, non-stacking trigger. But physics is a cruel and undefeated master. When you take that same 17-ounce platform and chamber it for the significantly more powerful 357 Magnum, the shooting experience changes dramatically. The excellent smooth trigger is still there, but it is completely negated by a recoil that is sharp, snappy, and deeply unpleasant. While it is heavier than the scandium revolvers, the small grip and the light frame do very little to tame the Magnum's violent energy. The Ruger LCR in 357 is on this list because it is a prime example of a great design being pushed into a role it is ill-suited for. It is a trap for those who believe that more power is always better, without considering the human factor. It's a great trigger, wasted on a platform that's impossible to control. Number 5. The Taurus 605 Poly Protector. At number 5, we have the firearm that brings this painful lesson to a budget-friendly price point. The Taurus 605 Poly Protector. Taurus has a long history of offering feature-rich firearms at accessible prices, and they were one of the first companies to heavily invest in polymer-framed revolvers. The 605 Poly Protector is a 5-shot 357 Magnum that combines a steel cylinder and barrel with a lightweight polymer frame, keeping the weight down to around 20 ounces. On paper, it seems like a fantastic package. Magnum power in a lightweight, affordable gun. However, just like the LCR, that polymer frame simply does not have the mass required to absorb the Magnum's recoil. The result is a gun that, while slightly heavier than its competitors, still delivers a very sharp and jarring recoil impulse. This firearm tempts many new shooters with its low price and its high-power chambering, but it often ends up being a gun that is carried once, shot once, and then left in the back of a safe forever. The Taurus 605 polyprotector is on this list because it proves that no matter the price point, the combination of a lightweight frame and a Magnum cartridge is a recipe for a deeply unpleasant shooting experience. Number 4. The Charter Arms Mag Pug. At number 4, we have a classic, no-frills American workhorse that offers magnum power in a small, concealable package, the Charter Arms Mag Pug. Charter Arms has been building affordable, dependable revolvers for decades. Their philosophy has always been to create simple, strong firearms for the average citizen. The Mag Pug is their 5-shot, .357 Magnum offering, built on a compact aluminum frame that keeps the weight down to about 23 ounces. It is a traditional design, with a simple spur hammer and fixed sights. It is a gun designed for deep concealment, and like the other revolvers on this list, it pays a steep price for that convenience. The small grip, the light frame, and the powerful cartridge combine to create a firearm that is genuinely difficult and painful to shoot with its intended Magnum ammunition. It bucks and twists in the hand, and a full cylinder of Magnum loads feels like a grueling, punishing chore. The Charter Arms Mag Pug is on this list because it is the quintessential example of a classic, lightweight, snub-nosed Magnum, and it perfectly illustrates that even with a traditional design, there is simply no cheating the laws of physics when it comes to recoil. Number 3. The Kimber K6S with a 2-inch barrel. Climbing to the number 3 position is a premium, beautifully crafted revolver that proves that even high-end all-steel guns can be punishing, the Kimber K6S. When Kimber, a company famous for its 1911 pistols, entered the revolver market, they did so with a masterpiece of engineering. The K6S was the smallest and lightest 6-shot, .357 Magnum on the planet. It is an all-steel revolver, but it is still incredibly compact, weighing in at only 23 ounces. It is praised for its exceptional non-stacking trigger, its smooth, dehorned edges, and its excellent sights. By all accounts, it is a top-tier defensive revolver. However, while its all-steel construction gives it a weight advantage over the scandium and polymer guns, it is still a very small firearm to be launching a Magnum projectile. The short 2-inch barrel and the small grip provide very little leverage to control the muzzle flip and the recoil. The result is a recoil impulse that is extremely snappy and sharp. It's a gun that feels like it's trying to jump out of your hand with every shot, a surprising and unpleasant experience from such a refined and expensive firearm. The Kimber K6S is on this list because it demonstrates that this problem isn't limited to budget or ultra-lightweight guns. Even a premium, all-steel revolver, if it is small enough, will be a brutally punishing host for the .357 Magnum. Number 2. The Smith & Wesson Model 360 PD. Our runner-up at number 2 is another entry from the world of advanced materials, a revolver that is very similar to our number 7 pick, the Smith & Wesson Model 360 PD. Like the 340 PD, the Model 360 is built on a featherlight scandium alloy frame. It weighs a barely there 11.7 ounces. The primary difference is that the Model 360 features an exposed hammer, which allows for single-action fire. This revolver was born from the same flawed design philosophy: create the lightest possible carry gun with the most powerful possible cartridge. It succeeds in that mission, but at the cost of being almost completely unshootable for most people with its intended Magnum ammunition. The experience is identical to the 340 PD, a shocking, painful blast of energy that makes you question your life choices with every pull of the trigger. The ability to cock the hammer for a precise single-action shot is almost a cruel joke, as it encourages you to take careful aim just before the gun punishes you for your effort. The Model 360 PD is on this list to reinforce a critical point. The material and the weight are the key problems. Whether the hammer is shrouded or exposed, cramming a .357 Magnum into a sub-12-ounce package is a fundamentally flawed concept for a practical firearm. Number 1. The Smith & Wesson Model 327 Performance Center, and now we arrive at the number 1 spot on our list, the most deceptive and in many ways the worst offender of them all. You see, all the revolvers we've discussed so far have been small, compact snubbies. You would expect them to have some kick, but our number one pick is a full-sized revolver built on a legendary large frame that still manages to be one of the most punishing .357 Magnums you can buy. The number one .357 Magnum revolver you should never buy is the Smith & Wesson Model 327 Performance Center. This revolver is built on the massive N frame, the same frame used for the legendary Model 29 in .44 Magnum. It boasts a full 8-shot capacity. It has a long 5-inch barrel. It looks like it should be a soft-shooting, gentle giant, but it hides a shocking secret. Its frame is also made of a scandium alloy. This full-sized 8-shot revolver weighs a mere 24 ounces. It is a ghost. A gun with the size of a heavyweight and the weight of a bantamweight. The result is a recoil that is completely unexpected and deeply unpleasant. People buy this gun expecting the size and the barrel length to tame the Magnum round, but the lack of mass creates a jarring, sharp recoil that is completely out of character for a gun of its dimensions. The Smith & Wesson 327 PC is our shocking number one because it is the ultimate deception. It uses its large size to lure you into a false sense of security before delivering a level of recoil that is as punishing as many of the snubbies on this list. It is the prime example of how mass, not size, is the ultimate king of recoil mitigation. So there you have it. 7 revolvers that, while often well-made, represent a painful mismatch of power and platform. The central theme today is not that these guns are bad, but that physics is undefeated. The incredible convenience of a lightweight revolver comes at the steep price of brutal recoil when paired with the .357 Magnum. For nearly all of these guns, the solution is simple and effective. Load them with quality .38 Special or .38 Special plus P ammunition. With that simple change, they are transformed from punishing hand cannons into excellent, controllable defensive tools. And the most critical lesson is this: the best defensive firearm is the one you can shoot well and the one you are willing to practice with. A gun you are afraid of is not an asset. It is a liability. Now, I want to hear from you. What is the most punishing handgun you have ever fired? Do you own one of the revolvers on this list and have a different take? Share your stories and your opinions down in the comments below. Your experience helps make this community the most knowledgeable one out there. If you found this discussion valuable, please give this video a like and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one.